We're back with breaking news in our politics lead and a brand new excerpt from my upcoming book with Axios' Alex Thompson. It's called Original Sin. I'm not sure if you've heard of it, Klein. It's called Original Sin. I'm sure you've heard on May 20th. That's Tuesday. Original Sin. That's coming out in 3 weeks. On May 20th. That's just 19 days away. In 1 week and 1 day. Coming out in just a few days. Comes out Tuesday. You will not believe what we found out.
He didn't make the policies. He didn't make them. That's what you're making your mistake. He was a zombie.
Yes, they are now eating themselves. There is a fight in within them. When you take a look at this, the Biden team says the last time Joe received a PSA test for this was in 2014. Absolute bull, and even CNN is calling it out. He was president of United States and didn't get tested. A question mark. I find this very surprising. You are president of the United States. You didn't do any test. During the campaign, I saw these people, oh, Biden has done this, done that. Now the story is changing. A lot of things are happening. Jack Tapper is being criticized by people on the left.
When it comes to Biden, you know how I feel. You didn't see and hear his obvious diminished capacity. What we mentioned here at News Nation all the time, this is a shocker. And now the narrative gets a nudge from a book that is about deception and a cover-up. They want you to believe the media was deceived into thinking Biden had no issues. Don't count me in on that. I knew, okay? And it was no secret because you knew too. The book is titled Original Sin, claiming to detail how Biden's staffers made efforts to hide his decline from the public and the media. The cover has Biden with his hands over his eyes, and it could just as easily be a picture of the writers of this book who are pretending they didn't see and hear what everybody else did. And look, I do believe the book is a cover for something. And it's a cover for something that's much more serious to me than Biden's age and stage ever were. The reality that many in the media knew damn well that Biden was losing it, but they played it down because they wanted Trump to lose more. The original sin is not hiding Biden's age and stage, but hiding this preference.
He didn't make the policies. He didn't make them. That's what you're making your mistake. He was a zombie from day one. On News Nation.
I've talked to him about his immigration policies. They were all the same ideas. You know, he believes that there's an openness to this country and that we need new blood. And he was worried about the left flank. Look, I don't have to agree with you. You can yell at me.
Absurd. It's an absurd contention when you have all the problems that developed. It's absurd.
I agree that the position is a bad position. I get it's a bad position. I don't agree with you about that. I think he had good days and a lot of bad days.
Yes.
And I know people who are around him on a regular basis who would say, today he was good. Oh, yesterday he forgot where we were supposed to be. You know, I mean, he's an old guy.
I'm not disputing that. I'm not disputing that because my mother had a condition similar.
Yeah, my father.
She had some good days.
Yeah.
But they deteriorated.
Yeah.
But Biden was not running the government. And that the book says that Ron Klain was running it. And that's probably true.
I was supposed to be covering different topics. See where we are. Still talking about Joe. Crazy, right? I was not supposed to be covering this. But we see that this is what everyone is talking about. The mainstream media can actually manipulate people. Jack Tapper spent his entire life covering Joe, saying good things about him, hiding the truth just to come back one day with a book, Original Sin. So he knew all this, but he was silent.
One of the things that we have learned in our reporting is that the Biden White House, led by the president, First Lady, and Hunter, and also top aides, they were lying not just to the media, they were lying not just to the public, they were lying to other Democrats. They were lying to donors, they were lying to cabinet secretaries, they were lying to Democratic lawmakers. we talked to one Democrat, and this is in the book, who said he would call and he would be told, he's fine, he's fine, he's fine. And then after Biden dropped out, this Democrat sat down with the president and the first lady, it's a very high-ranking person, but didn't want to be named, and said, he's looking fine. Jill had to pop in and finish his sentences, as we saw in The View not long ago. He's not fine. So the deceit was the main issue. But yes, journalists should have been poking and prodding, most especially, believe me, there's no one that flagellates me more than me. And yes, of course, I could have done more and I should have.
Yes, I just like the fact that he is saying, I could have done a little bit more. He knows that he did nothing. But I'm shocked that Whoopi Goldberg is not still getting it. According to this tweet, Whoopi is shocked that Biden wasn't fit for office. She says she never saw anything to point to him having any issue. She is now outraged that the media didn't tell her. Whoopi Goldberg is shocked.
Trust issue. There has always been a mass trust issue because politicians, media, nobody does what they're supposed to do. Now, I say, for me, listen, he's 83, so he's a little stumbly, he's a little rumbly. I can't point to anything that he's done as that he did.
No, but that he's running for his next 4 years.
But I'm saying, I want, not you, but I want somebody to tell me, well, when did you know it was bad? If you knew, why did you wait?
Yeah.
So
can I answer that,
Can I get in for a second?
He said that it was after he moderated the debate.
Yes, but that's not, I'm sorry, baby. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about if you're telling me that hundreds of people knew that he was not able to do his job, then where the hell was everybody?
He did his job. Because the voters were saying there was a concern. There were people across the board saying they had a concern. And the Democrats said, no, over here, look over here. They told the voters what to care about, and they did not listen when the voters said they cared. So these stories come out aren't about beating a dead horse. It's saying if they could have a fair conversation that we heard you, we saw it as they saw it, they'd be gaining some of the voters back to say, okay, we're not going to keep saying that.
You agree with that?
No, I don't. I think that I want to move on from why the Democratic Party lost, and I want to hear from the Democratic Party about how we are going to take our country back and how what they are going to do to combat fascism and what they're going to do to stop the Medicare.
There's also a reality here. Yeah. Just so we know, like, this table spends a lot of time criticizing Donald Trump, and a lot of it is very valid and needs to happen. But it is a fact his approval rating is 39%.
It's higher than the Democratic Party.
However, Democrats is 27%. People felt gaslit and lied to. In 2023,
part of that, I
in
think
2023,
the low ratings for the Democrats, I think, partly, I may be making this up, is because they haven't fought hard enough, what she's talking about.
That may
Not
be
because
part of
they're
it.
so angry with the Democrats for being bad.
77% of Americans in 2023 said Joe Biden was too old to run again. And they were told, sit down, shut up, he is the nominee. And then when it became untenable and he stepped aside, they anointed Kamala Harris. There was not a primary, there was not a Democratic process. And then when she lost, they said, don't look backward. We're moving forward. We're not even going to talk about why we didn't listen to you. We had Joe Biden here last week. It was an honor to have him. I think he is a good man. I do not think he could have been president for 4 more years. The hardest job on the planet.
Can this guy be president?
He was elected. I didn't vote for him.
Real quickly, he also, President Biden took responsibility at this table, which is something that I'm frustrated with the Democrats. He said,
he did take
this falls
responsibility.
on me. And I said that was the clearest answer of what people needed to hear.
Axelrod for 2 years that something was wrong here. And so, I was shocked. I love Joe Biden. I don't like him. I love him. I got a chance to work with him when I was a part of the Obama administration and loved him more every day. I was shocked to see his condition when he came out, and so was the world. And that wasn't the first time he was in that condition. The book makes it very, very clear. There are people who knew and said nothing. And that is a crime against this republic. And I think the Democrats are going to pay for a long time for being a part of what is now being revealed to be a massive cover-up.
I believe you've seen Sonny Austin's reactions when Alisa said they anointed Kamala Harris without following the due process. She was not happy when she said that. That is just to tell you their mindset. This is the truth. And whatever thing Alisa said here, to me, it just cements everything. These people will not accept. Coming to tell me, oh, this Trump cannot be president for 4 years, it is ridiculous. The man is active. He is doing his work. Not using auto pen. These are things we saw. But the View still struggling to defend it. To me, I don't understand how these people even feel when they do this every single time. It's embarrassing. This is time they could have accepted that that's the issue. How can we move forward? Thank you guys who has been there sharing out my videos. God bless you abundantly. And don't stop to support me.
I'm horrified. And we're back to our daily segment.
If you're having some issues in your marriage
and actually found a way to bitch and moan about how hard it is to live in the White House.
When you walk through a storm, keep your head held high. Show.
Big debate going on. Think of Donald Trump's post this morning alleging that since I said I hate Taylor Swift,
will prevail. It also shouldn't be racial.
Require Carmelo to run. He had
100.
Has been overwhelming. The lies in their amplification.
This is not going to end. Right is right and wrong is wrong. All good.
If you see any clips after this, that is just for the YouTube algorithm.
What if he says self-defense?
There's no self-defense because kids in here and resolve this issue is called conflict resolution.
Again, the evidence is still coming in.
This is definitely a self-defense case because it always is one until you look at the facts of the case and compare the two. You have to compare who was the initial aggressor.
Bedroom, because she's fearful of what might happen to her.
followers for anything, and then
Registration Act is
talking about this man, Killmonger.
My summary of the first 100 days is that
if film and TV productions continue to
first term, and you will be very.
Once again, the field was littered with Wintour does every year. This Carmelo Anthony case.
Live in the White House. Many people
like a little unhinged drunk.
And black people don't want to live around ratchet black.